All right. Well, welcome everybody. Welcome back to some of you. Welcome if there are any first timers to this the series of webinars that really focuses in on growing small business within the city of Glendale and providing all of us with the tools and tricks to allow us to really expand what we're able to do given our resources and expand the impact that we're able to have. So as I mentioned, this is part of the Business Growth Blueprint series that the City of Glendale is putting on in collaboration with Synergist. And we're very fortunate to have Eddie Sumar here for the third time. Just to do a quick recap, our first webinar was around time management and really making your time count. Last time we had effective negotiation strategies, which really had some very salient points for how to prepare for negotiations, how to deal with negotiations in real time, and really how to leverage negotiation as a cornerstone of your business strategy. And today we're going to be talking about customer service adventure. Customer service, it's everybody's business, is what Eddie has decided to call this one. And in preparation for this call, we were just having a great conversation around all the different strategies that have been proposed as fact in the past, whether it's the customer is always right versus the customer doesn't know what they want until you give it to them versus the customer is king, how all the different variations of that trope. And so Eddie's going to be able to share with us some of his insight from running successful businesses and having a very successful practice of consulting small businesses. And he'll be able to give us insight into what he's seen work and what he's seen not work. So for those of you just joining us, Eddie Sumar is who's going to be giving the talk today again. He's the founder of ERS Consulting Services in Rancho Cucamonga and the patron of the Otis Dream Project for Education Without Barriers in Zambia, Africa. He's an award-winning international trade financing consultant with several books to his name. And he is a chair of education and youth skills development for the Inland Empire Regional Chamber of Commerce. He was recently appointed by the U.S. Secretary of Commerce to serve as a member of the California Inland Empire District Export Council, which he will be serving in until 2027. He's a public speaker and enjoys writing and traveling and has so far traveled to 143 countries and counting, and maybe he'll add some more this year. But it is fantastic for us to have you here again, Eddie, and I look forward to this talk.
Thank you very much, David. Thank you, Jennifer, the whole team of the Glendale Community and Economic Development Department. I think this is amazing program that we are going to go through. Let's Grow Glendale, because believe it or not, the small business community is the foundation of the business and economic prosperity in any city, because even big companies started as small. And as David alluded, we had 2 webinars. Today is the third one. And I believe this one is a cornerstone in the success of any individual and company. Because in reality, I teach high schoolers and we do boot camps. And 2 boot camps are very important, is financial literacy and customer service. Why? Because I believe if you are in business, there are 2 things that you need to master to be extremely successful. In addition to having a good business plan, strategic plan, great operations, great management, all that is internal. When you deal with customer service, that's internal and external, because the core of your success, the core of differentiation is how you service your customers. So today we are going to teach you one of the secrets of success. If you can master it, wow, whether you are an employee, whether you are a manager, you are really at one point a consumer or producer, you will be a customer in any given situation. If you are a business owner, your own customers are key to you, they're the king, but also your employees are your first customer. I call them emperors. Notice you might be the owner of the company, but the emperor that could depose your kings and they sabotage your company is your employee. A happy employee means happy customer, means happy company. So that's very important. So this is what I want, the twist I want to bring today, that customer service is everybody's business. In fact, from the cleaning crew, reception, to the chairman of the board, everyone is engaged in customer service. Just picture this. You have a beautiful restaurant. Now, you had a great opening, but the next day, your employees, your cleaning crew decided, we're not going to clean the dishes, we're not going to clean the restaurant. And now, do you think as a patron, as a customer, I would love to enter your restaurant to eat a delicious meal? No way. Why? The floors are dirty. The tables are dirty. The dishes are still on the table. Wow. Right there. You haven't serviced the customer the right way. So even your cleaning crew is in the business of serving the customer, because we eat with our eyes, we eat with our palate, we eat with our brain even. The brain already is salivating. The eye is already seeing, I want to go to this restaurant and eat. If I enter that restaurant and I don't see it that is clean, I'm not going to eat. You lost that customer. Imagine if that is day after day, you go out of business. So your service starts at the lower level, from really cleaning the floors to making sure that the kitchen and the chef is in really best condition to get an A in your service and in your health delivery. So that right there, we could see that customer service is a differentiator. If you master it, you are going to be an extremely successful business. And as it says, let's grow Glendale. Yes, let's grow your business by mastering the art of not satisfying the needs of the customer, but delighting the customer. So today we're going to really answer several sets of 7 questions. There's going to be 7 questions about the customer, 7 questions about customer service, 7 questions about the customer service professional, and 7 elements of how to produce and extend extraordinary customer service. And we'll end with some issues to contemplate and final thoughts. As we set the stage, what is our mission? What is your mission as a small business that wants to grow and create? Remember, in order to grow, you need to have customer loyalty and goodwill. Because if customers are loyal to you, wow, you are really guaranteeing repeat business. Don't just say, I want just to do a one-time gig. You'll go out of business, because it takes time and effort to secure a new customer. So really, your mission is customer delight, not customer satisfaction. That is a given. You have to satisfy my needs, but are you delighting me? Are you differentiating yourself from the others in your industry, in your business community? Again, money mastery is important. Profitability through increased sales and timely cash flow. See how if you extend the ultimate customer service and customer delight, you are guaranteed the top line, sales revenue. When you have sales revenue and you have great cost structure, you have gross margin that is increasing. If everybody, imagine, if you want to maintain your SG&A, which is the sales and general administrative expenditures, imagine if you are hiring, firing, it's going to increase your costs. But if you have employees that your emperors are delighted with you as a company, and your customers are delighted, guess what? The employee with more experience, more seniority, more continuity and constancy in your company, what happens? You have really created efficiencies. That employee of yours, that emperor, knows a lot. Now, with the level of service that they are extending, they are creating loyalty and goodwill. All of a sudden, that employee is underpaid, so to speak, because they're doing now the job of 3-4 people. Because the more knowledge, the more experience they build in your company, they multiply their presence. Instead of having 3-4 salespeople to bring X amount of customers, this one person in the company has retained your client base, and with every act of goodness, they have multiplied. Right there, you multiplied your own employees' effort without realizing it. Why? Because you are focusing on delighting that employee, that emperor. In fact, I was talking to Jennifer this morning. I came across beautiful 2 quotes. One of them by Bertrand Russell, who said, "We think much, feel little. That's very powerful. Your mission is about feeling much and doing much, not thinking much and feeling little. Thinking alone, like Ai Weiwei, a Chinese artist, said, a small act is worth a million thoughts. If you want to delight your employees, the emperor, if you want to delight your customers, the king, a small act is worth a million thoughts. Don't think I want to delight my customers. Don't think I want to satisfy. Act. Move into the zone of action to satisfy that emperor, that employee, the needs. Notice I'm saying not the wants and desire, the needs first, and the needs of your customer. And then you can satisfy their wants and their desires. So now, when we are extending customer service, look at the beautiful stars. You want to make sure that every encounter with your customer becomes a memorable experience. Remember, the customer is number one. Always there should be an aha moment. And yes, there will be a wow effect. And notice, I love the other star. You can be that hero. Write your name in that star because you are leading the charge to satisfy your customers, to delight them to the ultimate degree. Now, when I wrote my book, Adventure into the Maze of Customer Delight, I thought, what can I do to leave you with a formula? Because notice, this is really encapsulates everything you need to know about customer delight. Now, when you look at this formula, I want you to realize one thing. What mathematical sign is not present in this formula? Now, there are basic signs. Like we are in a mathematics class, we learn about the equal sign, we learn about addition, we learn about multiplication, subtraction, and division. But notice when I formulated this customer delight formula, I thought two signs should never be there. Never divide or subtract from your service. So the rule of thumb that we are going to learn today as a takeaway, always add and multiply, never divide and subtract. That if we can master that, because that's exactly what a customer wants. Don't take away, always add. That's why when I lived in the city of Jerusalem, I used to go buy peanuts in the bazaar. And there were several people in the bazaar. They will have this brown bag and you go buy peanuts and you'll see just they take a handful, scoops, they put it there. And you think that that brown bag is full. Yeah, they piled it. But guess what? There is a lot of air in that bag. But I saw one of the sellers in the market. He will take these two scoops and then he shakes that bag. He presses it down with his hand. Then he takes another scoop and put it. Then he shakes it until he fills it. That is the one that I always went to buy from, because he didn't just sell a brown bag with air. Yeah, it was overflowing, but two scoops, while the other one, it was so pressed down, overflowing. That means I got the equivalence of maybe 3.25 scoops instead of just two scoops. Value added. Another takeaway, anytime you want to give a service to your customers, add value. Do not subtract or divide that value. So this is the formula I wanted to share with you, and we're going to break it down into its components, because we are looking to what is s to the power 2. Notice it's to the power, not s plus s. A to the power 3, C to the power 10, D to the power 2. Because really, when we use customer delight formula, we always intensify. It's not a mathematical addition. It's a geometrical progression. So now, customer service. Remember, it's an adventure. It's a maze. It's everybody's business. Anytime we get in contact with a customer, what happens? We enter a maze. Now we hear some stories in ancient Greece that some people enter a maze and they could never go out and they died in that maze. And that's exactly what could happen when you have a customer service experience. You and your customer might enter that maze and you'll not be able to exit. that means the relationship will be killed. The transaction is dead. The goal is to enter a maze and exit together in a better situation to grow the relationship, to grow the business. So it's an adventure, because when we think of an adventure, there will be ups and downs. There will be mountains and valleys. Nothing is in a flat surface. You are going to go through ups and downs, through triumphs and trials. But it's how you end that journey is what counts. Enjoy the journey, but end it alive. I hear many times that people go up to conquer Mount Everest. Those who triumph are the ones who reach the summit and come back alive. You'll be surprised if you go to Chomolungma, which is the name of the Tibetan name of the Himalayas mountain of Everest. There's a lot of bodies frozen in that ice because they made it to the top. Yes, they triumphed, but they never made it back. So triumph is not about reaching the summit. It's about coming back alive to continue growing and giving and even conquering another peak in your life. So that's exactly what customer service experience, customer delight is about, conquering the obstacles together with your customer, reaching the peak of success, coming down alive to continue and growing that relationship and growing your business. Here is another takeaway. The triangle, notice, of dependency. No company should think in independent fashion. Many people could be condescending or arrogant, saying, I don't need the customer. I lose one, I can gain 100 tomorrow. Think again. I want to show you today. In fact, I keep old statistics because I want to amplify it with today's environment. Some of the research that is in the on purpose here goes back 20, 30 years because it's fundamental. But when I inject the social media platform, the social media effect, the TikTok effect, etc., now you see that old research has multiplied in millions and thousands, hundreds of thousands, because what one bad experience today could be amplified and really projected in social media, and that company might not be able to recover. So in reality, we all depend on one another. And if you look at this triangle of dependency, there are three contracts, so to speak. There is a contract between you, the emperor, the employee, and the company, which means the company has to make sure that you, the employee, are extremely satisfied and delighted, and vice versa. You work for a company, you have to say, the company is my customer, I'm the producer of service to keep them in business. They become your king. Now, there is a contract between you and the customer. The customer is king. And the customer, vice versa, is going to depend on you to satisfy the need, the wants and desire. And now the customer without the company cannot fulfill the need, the want and desire. So notice, all three are very important. A company, the entrepreneur finds a need, a pain point, a problem in the community, and lo and behold, they open a business to solve the problem, to alleviate the pain, to fulfill and satisfy the need. They hire people to deliver on the product and service. But now you and the customer, you can either become a hero or a villain. And the customer, when they have a need, they're looking for a company that is honorable, that is accountable, a company that is going to satisfy their needs. And when there is a problem, the company is going to be there for them. They want the company to exist because they need that service and that product. See how important? There are three sets of contracts, but we are all interdependent. We depend on one another. If one is missing, the whole formula is gone. The company disappears. We have customers that need something, they cannot find it. A good example, during the lockdown, you go to Costco, shelves are empty. There is a hurricane. Oh, there is no water in the shelf. Where do we go? We need the company. The company that doesn't have employees, how do I satisfy the needs of my customers? So that's how we are looking at the relationship. We all depend on one another. But I always tell my clients, the most important person in this triangle, yes, the customer, many will say, in reality, is the employee, EMP for emperor. Emperor appoint and depose kings. The customer sounds like is a king. The customer is also king. Notice we have two kings. the imper is the employee. That is the twist that I bring in this presentation. If you always value your employees, the impers, you guarantee success as a company, you guarantee goodwill and loyalty in the customer, and now everybody is happy because we are all interdependent and dependent on one another. Let's start with the customer. We have 28 questions and that we are going to be answering. 21 questions and 7 elements that we will delve into, a total of 28. Imagine, it's not hundreds, 28 fundamental issues that we need to tackle to be masters at customer delight. So when we think of the customer, there are 7 questions. We ask, who is a customer? Why do customers buy from us? Why do they buy from the competition? Many times companies stop by saying, why do customers buy from us? But all of a sudden now they have blinders. They need to ask, why do they buy from the competition? Why do customers call us when they have a problem? Or when they are looking for a need to be satisfied or a problem to be solved? Or a pain to be alleviated? Why do customers need, what do they need when they call us? Notice I'm using the word need. What can satisfy a customer? And I will add the word, what can delight them? And what are the costs of losing a customer? Let's take the first one, the customer. Who is a customer? There are 2 types, internal and external, which means when we work for a company, everyone in the Glendale Community and Economic Development Department, all of you are internal customers. When you are dealing with the city, within the system, all of you are considered internal customers. But the moment you are dealing with the external environment, the people in Glendale that seek your services are the external customers. If you are in business, you have a restaurant, every patron, every customer that comes into your restaurant is an external customer. Your employees are your internal customers. All of you are internal customers. But today we're going to be focusing on the external customer. Why? Because internally, there is service ready to be deployed, but there is no exchange of value. What gives us value, increase the top line and the bottom line, is the external customer. The internal customer is really a drain on resources, but the external customer is replenishing that resource, increasing your resources through net profit and timely cash flow. So yes, those who buy our product and services, those who have a need for us to fulfill, those who keep us in business, the reason for our job. Without a customer, we will fall. There will be no company. Imagine if overnight, all the citizens of Glendale, they move to another city. All of a sudden, the city cannot exist. You hear of many times ghost towns. People came for the gold rush in California, and after the gold finish or the shafts and the mines were closed, that became a ghost town. Then, if there is no subjects, there are no residents, then there is no service, there is no city. You see, it's the reason for our job. We need people to populate Glendale. We need businesses to come to Glendale. We need businesses to prosper, to grow. I love, let's grow Glendale. That's amazing. It's the reason for all of our jobs and for the raison d'etre of our own businesses to keep us not only alive, but thriving in a beautiful city like Glendale. Those who provide funds for your paycheck. Imagine your customers are the one that pays your bills. Now, why do customers buy from us? The first thing is, you want to ask, is it convenience? Is it your quality? Is it your price? Is it the value that you give? Is it your reputation? Or is it your service? See, if you are in business, always ask, why do customers come to me? If you don't know this answer, you need to answer that. But many times companies stop there. If you want to grow your business and thrive, now you need to go and ask the next question, why do they buy from the competition? Notice it's the same questions. Is it convenience, quality, price, value, reputation, or service? But then I added another one. Is it you or is it your absence? And I will prove to you that this is a very important element. Why? During the pandemic, maybe you remember during the lockdown in 2020, everybody had a run on Costco. Like most people go and buy from Costco. But I rarely went to Smart and Final. We went to Costco. There were long lines. We entered in. The shelves were bare. We said, but we needed those items. Where can I find them? And lo and behold, I told my wife, let's go to Smart and Final, which we rarely visited. We found those items there. And guess what happens after that? Every time we needed something, instead of going first to Costco, we said, let's go first to Smart and Final and then go to Costco. And throughout the pandemic, Smart and Final had the items we needed. Look how much business Costco lost from one family during that time because they were absent. In what sense? Their shelves were bare. They didn't have the item fully stocked. People came, took it, you go there. All of a sudden, we started going now to Smart and Final. So our habits were changed because of the absence of the item at the shelves at Costco. See how powerful is that? So really, you understand inventory control. You need to understand what do you have on the shelf, because if you have customers coming to you and you don't have the service or the product, it's only a matter of time they find a substitute, they go to the competition. Why do customers call us? Very simple. Customer call us because we have the knowledge, we have the expertise, we can offer them help, the solution, we keep our promises. If you want to succeed as a business, make sure always, always, always keep your promises. This is very powerful. If you don't keep your promises, guess what? Your customers are not they're not going to be happy at all. Why? Because you should be known for your promises. Customers call you because they need your product or service. They believe in your abilities because we listen. Remember, listening is very powerful because when we listen, what happens to the customer? They are telling us exactly what they need, what they want, what they desire. If we stop listening to the voice of the customer, it's only a matter of time that our business will disappear, because there's always someone else waiting to listen to your customer to take them away from you. So remember, when customers call you, they pay you the ultimate compliment. Now, what do customers need when they call you? Again, your customer need a listening ear. They need understanding. They need an assurance. Remember A to the power 3? Here is one of the A's in that formula: assurance. They need comfort. They need solution. They need action. They need you to follow up and follow through. That's very important. When a customer calls you and said, I need this to be done, what do? You don't say, okay, Mr. Customer, I heard you, and then a day, 2 days, 3 days passes and nothing happened. If you don't follow up and follow through on your promises, it's only a matter of time for that customer to find an alternative or a competitor. The most important thing in anything is follow up and follow through. You end up a customer service call. Yes, Mr. Customer, Miss Customer, I'm going to do this. Make sure that you do what you said you are going to do. Even if you send them to somebody else in your company, follow up with them, because if you refer and delegate, it's not abdication. The one who delegates has the accountability and responsibility to follow up on that call to make sure that that customer needs, wants, and desires were fulfilled and satisfied, so that customer keeps being loyal and builds that more goodwill towards your company. So that's why a lot of people think, yeah, I'll transfer you to another department, therefore I end. A great customer service professional will always follow up on any referrals and maybe follow up with the customer. I remember 2 days ago, I transferred to my boss, are you satisfied with our service? That is huge. That's amazing. Especially if you are dealing with a small number of customers. Granted, if you are dealing with millions, there's other ways. You can email people, you can have type of surveys. There is a type of follow-up that great companies will do. Mediocre companies will do, and they forget about the customer. And that's why they will never stay in business for a long, long time. They'll be bought out, or somebody else will take them out of existence, so to speak. What can satisfy a customer? Believe it or not, It's more the psychological element. It's not about satisfying the service and the need, the transactional. It's about psychology. Treat me with respect. Treat me as a king. See, show me care and concern. Recognize my emotion. Offer solution. Remember, a million acts is worth than a million thoughts. Bertrand Russell said, we think much but feel little. Here we need to feel much rather than thinking much. So if we recognize their emotions, we can offer solution to their problems. We can apply the golden rule. How? By being human, being personable, being professional, being polite. What are the costs of losing a customer? This is really a very eye-opener. Loss of customers, loss of sales and profit, because when you lose a customer, your top line in the income statement, which is sales revenue, gross sales, is going to be decreasing. If sales decrease, your net profit will decrease. If you don't have enough profit, cash flow will decrease. And also, when customers are dissatisfied, they will not pay you on time, or if ever they pay you. There will be idle capacity. So there will be cost. Imagine you're a manufacturer or you are a restaurant, you have all the fresh ingredients, but customers heard that you have bad service, they stop coming in. You have workers ready to serve, fresh ingredients in the refrigerator, chef ready to cook, and no one comes in. Idle capacity. That food is going to be thrown in a number of days. Look how much money you have thrown. Job security will be endangered. Career advancement will be affected. Ultimately, job loss and lower morale all over. Notice, we just covered the first 7 questions about the customer. We're going to do the same now with customer service. We're going to tackle 7 questions. What is customer service? How can we make it our competitive edge? What do statistics show concerning customer service and the customer? What are the costs of bad customer service? What are the don'ts of customer service? What are the goals of customer service? And what are the benefits of good customer service? Let's tackle one at a time. What is customer service? If I were to define it, it's not a science, really. It's the art of fulfilling customer needs to achieve customer delight. See, it's an art. The reason it's an art, because art is beautiful in the eye of the beholder. So you can deliver the same level of service to 2 different people. They have 2 different feedback, 2 different sentiments. Really, you can't just be constant in your service, meaning monotone. You have to be really customizing your service to the end of delighting that particular customer. So every customer experience is a unique experience. It's one-to-one. It's not one-to-many. It's people-oriented service. It's magic. And notice now the other 2 A's. Remember, S to the power 2 plus A to the power 3 plus C to the power 10 equal D to the power 2. Now you have all the A's. A for attitude, A for action, A for assurance. If you multiply the 3, just imagine your positive attitude with your acts of kindness and acts, the transactional acts that you take, plus the assurance, it will be all right, it will be done, we'll follow through to assure that our promises were kept, not only to fulfill the expectation of the customer, but to exceed their expectation in order to delight them. How can we make customer service our competitive edge? They call me the king of acronyms. So I took the word edge and I said, let's make edge the acronym here. Competence with an edge. Competence is a C, one of the 10 C's that you will be collecting. E for excellence. D for dedication. G for the golden rule. E for empathy. Notice, if I look at the word edge, how many of them reflect the task? I can really stretch it and say excellence reflects the level of the quality of the delivery. But dedication, the golden rule, the empathy, all of them first show your humanity, but also you couple that with the act. If you empathize, you go beyond empathy to compassion to mercy. That means you act on that empathy, sympathy, compassion, and action. The golden rule, you act towards other in the way they want to be treated as you want to be treated. Your dedication should be reflected in your discipline and determination to delight that customer. And E for excellence is the crowning achievement. If we do everything with humanity, with respect, with full discipline and dedication, and executing the task with the highest quality possible to exceed expectations, that is excellence. Reflects your empathy, your expertise, your experience, your education. All should be reflected in one word, excellence. So the edge is really a combination of human, people skills, and task skills. What do statistics show concerning customer service and the customer? On purpose, I like these older statistics because everything you see here is foundational. Now just amplify it. About 10% of customers complain, the rest simply go elsewhere. And this is true. I venture to say even less than 10% now will complain. It costs 5 to 6 times as much to gain a new customer than to retain an old one. Still true, but now with social media, we have a multiplier effect that wasn't there. But this is the beauty. 95% of customers who experience dissatisfaction will buy from you again if their complaints are resolved quickly. Wow. You see, this is huge percentage. That means it doesn't matter what the deal is. It doesn't matter how grave the error was. What matters how fast have we solved it to the delight of that customer. Because think about it, customers came to you to buy your product or service because you are the expert, because they trusted you, because you keep your promises. You are the expert in that field. So if you act quickly, acknowledge, act, delight, now all of a sudden they are going to stay with you, because it's not, the issue is not the problem, is how we respond. Notice I'm not using the word react. React is emotional. How we respond is logical. Step by step, detach of emotion, looking at the needs, because if the customer is emotional, it will be too much for two people to be sympathetic to one another and be emotional. There will be no logic. One is emotional, the other should be logical, and then we can fix it to the delight of that customer, and now you get them for life. 68% of customers quit because of attitude. Again, remember the A, attitude? Wow. Even employees leave companies because of the attitude of their managers or their peers or somebody in the company. They love the company, attitude of people around them propel them to leave that company. Dissatisfied customers tell 8 to 10 people, and this is powerful. Imagine you have a great experience, you'll be lucky to tell 1 or 2. But the moment you have a bad experience, you are going now to amplify it and to proclaim it widely to anybody that wants to listen. And that was the old traditional way. Now just add the social media impact. Imagine if I am dissatisfied, if I have 21, 20, 30,000 followers, now I can send that message, and lo and behold, whoever follows me on social media is going to listen. But some people have millions of followers. Imagine those influencers, if they say one word of dissatisfaction, now all of a sudden, not only 1 or 8 or 10, but many. But notice the snowballing effect, the real cost of bad customer service. In the beginning, there was one dissatisfied customer, good, who told 10 others. You say, fine. Now, in turn, those told 5 each. 1 plus 10 plus 50. So bad customer service is not an option. Why? Because the snowball effect is snowballed. Now you have 61 people who knew about what happened to you in that instant. And now imagine all 61 people, they have Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok, Instagram, whatever platform they use. And that 61 could become hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands, millions. We don't know. Because we don't know the real impact, remember the takeaway, bad customer service is not an option. Remember the movie Apollo 13? Failure is not an option. Because if they didn't come back to Earth, they would have been lost in space. but they were able to come back to earth and tell us about them. In fact, I met Gene Kranz, who was really very instrumental in bringing Apollo 13 to earth, because he kept saying failure is not an option. Find a solution, find a way to bring the astronaut back into earth. So always in customer service, failure, bad service is not an option. So what are the don'ts of customer service? Remember one word, respect. But remember another word, ego. Beware of the ego. When you are serving a client, it's not about you. Remember, you have to be the logical. You have to be detached from the emotion. It doesn't mean that you cannot be emotional. By all means, we are human beings. We feel. But we need to act with respect. We need to forget egos. The customer is calling us not because I did something wrong. Remember, it's not you. It's the service, the product, something went wrong. They're calling you. Now, show your humanity. So don't argue, don't attack, don't blame, and don't tell the customer to calm down. Remember, that's a pressure cooker. I love to cook. Have you ever tried to cook in a pressure cooker? Once it finishes, don't open the lid. Why? Because that lid is full of steam. The customer is that pressure cooker full of steam. What do? You open the valve, you allow the steam to empty, and once it empties, you can open and nothing happens. But if you try to do that, that pressure will take that lid off. It could injure you, it could damage the roof of like the ceiling, whatever. So make sure it doesn't happen to you. The customer is like a bomb ready to explode. Make sure handle it with extreme care. Diffuse it. Don't ask for understanding for your weakness. You are the expert. They came to you. They depend on you. Don't become defensive or offensive, and don't use expletives. Don't take things personally, and don't quote the policy. Oh, I hate policies. I teach customer service. I help companies write policies and procedures. Therefore, who wrote the policies and procedures? We did. The company did. So use them as guidelines, but then you can stretch them, you can collapse them, you can contract them, you can ask for help, third-party involvement. But don't say, sir, is the policy, ma'am, is the policy. No. Don't use negatives, cannot, should not, would not, etc. That is very powerful. Now, what else? What are the goals of customer service? First, attain to customer delight, which means greater pleasure, higher degree of gratification, extreme satisfaction, fulfill and fix customer needs, maintain customer goodwill and loyalty. You solidify the relationship with your customer, and yes, be the customer's hero. Wow, that's amazing. Can you imagine you as a company, as a small business owner, or whatever size of the company, if everyone in the company thinks that way? You are all in the business of customer service. That's why it's everybody's business. Your company is going to be so amazing. And notice the benefits. What are the benefits of good customer service? Start with you. You have pride in excellence. You are professional. You grow personally. You have job security and satisfaction. The more customers keep coming, the more security you have. Career advancement, success, sense of accomplishment. What about the company? More sales, more profit, higher employee morale, less defects, less attrition, bad debt, customer goodwill and loyalty, expansion, growth, success. Remember, let's grow Glendale. Growth. The company is going to grow if you deploy the fundamentals of customer delight. The customer delight, extreme satisfaction, greater pleasure and gratification, loyalty, security, peace of mind, sense of caring. That's why Robert Greenfield said, good leaders must first become good servants. That's amazing. How could we be leaders if we serve? Because when you serve, you are walking in your customer's shoes. You are not missing a perspective. You are not missing the voice of the customer. When we serve others, we are at their level. We see eye to eye. We sync our brain waves. We feel what they feel. We hear what they say. We act to fulfill that need and to delight that customer. A customer service professional a can-do attitude. You see, this is the differentiator. Some people, no can do. Others that differentiate to delight their customer, yes, we can. A can-do attitude. And that will take us to the next 7 questions. The customer service professional. Notice we talked about the customer. Notice, rightly so, we started from the external environment, the customer, but also we know that there are internal customers. Then we talked about customer service, the context. And now we set the stage. Who is the actor? Who is the hero? The customer service professional. Now we are on the stage. So we need to understand who is a customer service professional if you want to be the best actor in that role. What are the goals? What are the roles of the customer service professional? How important is attitude? Again, attitude to a customer service professional. What affects the customer service professional's attitude? What skills are needed to make sure you succeed as a customer service professional? And the question is it possible to extend extraordinary customer service? And that will be the bridge to the final 7 elements of this presentation when we get there. Let's take the first one. Who is a customer service professional? Is someone who has the skills, the experience, the expertise, and remember the excellence, the E of edge. Someone who symbolizes excellence in everything you do. Someone who understands etiquette, good manners. That's why I teach in high school, a whole 4-hour segment is business etiquette and office politics. So etiquette, business etiquette is very important. Adhere to standards and canon of ethics. Now, what are the goals of the customer service profession? Remember, you want to be proud. Pride in what you do. Take the word pride. P for professional, polite, personable, persistent. And notice each last word I add is a word for action. Perform. If you want to be professional in your service delivery, it's about performance, action. R, rapport, recognition, reliability, respect, resolution. When a customer comes to you, they want resolution. They want a solution to a problem. I, inspiring, imaginative, involved. Active in the process of customer delight. D, dedicated, determined, desire to serve, and delight. E, empathy, enthusiasm, encouragement, excellence. Here, excellence, not just now, it's really to excel. When you think of the word excellence, you need to excel, convert it into a verb, to act, to become excellent. So ultimately, you need to think of delight the customer, delight the customer, delight the customer. What are the roles of the customer service professional? Again, as a king of acronym, I like to take words and embody the roles into each word: customer, service, and professional. Look at that. If you think of the customer, you as the professional become the coach and counselor. You'll be the understanding seeker, solution seeker, team player, organizer, motivator, embracer, rapport builder. Remember, Walmart have greeters. In fact, a company in Sweden, everybody that came into the company, they were hugged and they felt good. Are you that hugger who builds the rapport? Service, server, empathizer, relationship builder, vanguard, inspirator, cheerleader, energizer. Wow. Have you ever seen a sports game without cheerleading from the crowds or from specific teams that come? Even when people are running a marathon, people are along the road, they'll keep cheerleading you to come to the finish line. Professional, problem solver, referee, optimist, friend, encourager, sympathizer, sincerely sweet. That's what we need when we have a customer service issue. Someone who understands, who's sweet in their action and kind. Initiator, initiate action. Option offerer, negotiator, artist. Yes, you become legendary. You'll become a legend. But how important is attitude to customer service professional? It's really the difference between failure and success. And your attitude is really your feeling or emotion toward a fact or a state. It's your position with regard to a fact or a state. It's you and your company as a hero or a villain. It's the difference between customer delight and customer disgust. That's why I thought here is to share a couple of quotes with you. And Scott Hamilton said, the only disability in life is a bad attitude. Interesting. So bad attitude disables us, demoralizes the customer, deactivates a solution, so to speak. Uncle Otis said, make a good and positive attitude your ability. So from now on, it's about growth mindset, not fixed mindset. It's about positive attitude, not negative attitude. It's about ability, not disability. So what are the effects? What affects the customer service professional's attitude? Believe it or not, our appearance, attire, cleanliness, facial expressions, verbal expressions, tone of voice, choice of words, language, one's surrounding, one's perception, feelings, thoughts, emotion, moods, expectations, culture, education, experience, values, beliefs, standards, our self-esteem. So if you want to feel good about yourself, in fact, many years ago in 1995, I had a training by Pacific Bell. Like, you know, AT&T, Pacific Bell used to be one of these companies, then becomes Verizon and Frontier. So they keep moving those communications utility companies. They changed their names. But one thing they did, every time you go for training to how to deal with phone calls, they gave us a mirror. I still have the mirror when I teach in person. You look at the mirror and said, if you are not smiling, don't get on the phone. Because a smile is the shortest distance between two people. And I can guarantee you, if you speak with a frown, the tone of voice is different. When you speak with a smile, everything appears different. The tone changes. So that's the power of tone, verbal expression, our voice, how you speed up, how you slow down, how to pitch it up, how to go down. So really, if you want to be a good communicator, understand 93% of communication is nonverbal. Only 7% is verbal. But even our tone of voice is considered as part of the nonverbal communication, is how we color our voice with speed and pitch and volume and intonate it. That's very important. What are the skills that we need to be a successful customer service professional? Remember, there is a combination of task or hard skills, and there are soft skills. We call it power skills, people skills, human skills, etc. The hard skills, task, or technical skills are administrative, technical, operational, computer, business, troubleshooting, etc. The soft skills is a combination really of tasks, because planning has a step-by-step process, but planning means using intuition, judgment, understanding perception, input from others, goal setting skills, decision-making, organizational skills, time management, managing multiple priorities, conceptual skills, problem solving. Many times we put things into categories, but by no means it's 100% soft. It crosses into the task and hard. That's why when I teach skills, I tell people, understand that it's a continuum. And each task has a combination of steps to take. These are the technical or the task versus the people dimension or the power dimension. What skills are needed to make you a success as a customer service professional? People skills, communication, interpersonal, listening, conflict resolution, negotiation, leadership, persuasion, behavioral skills. See, anytime two people come together, you need to understand these skills are the minimum standards. If you master that, you'll be an amazing individual. Because believe it or not, you might not be a leader in title, but you could lead better than a leader who has a title through influence. That's why we have positional versus influence. You lead through influence versus through position. Yeah, I can be a manager, but my employee could be a better leader than me. Why? Because the power of influence that employee possesses. So that's why when I teach leadership skills, I want to make sure that everybody understands that leadership skills can be learned by all. So I would love to see everyone to be a leader, not, oh, the leadership is only the domain of the few. I believe every single person has to do three things: lead self first, lead others, a team, and lead a company, or lead your purpose, so to speak. Is it possible to extend extraordinary customer service? Yes, absolutely, positively. And I'm even going now to enhance your ability with that by understanding the 7 key elements. Notice so far we tackled 21 questions that have broadened our horizons as to the topic of customer delight. Now we are going to zero in on the 7 key elements that we grounded. Always display a can-do attitude, avoid the pitfalls, always listen, keep the lines of communication open, be courteous, learn and master how to handle difficult customers, and then how to juggle multiple priorities. See, that's very important, because that's why we start with time management. With time management, we learn about how to juggle among multiple priorities, what's important and it's critical, understanding the matrix. Now let's take the customer service professional. I want to share with you a technique I myself learned in the late 1980s, early 1990s, by communication briefings. I used to train salespeople, and I found this beautiful. This really was a 2-day training that I used to train my salespeople around the world, but I extracted the diffuse method because I thought this is amazing. If you are in customer service, whether you do conflict resolution, negotiation, or dealing with customers, they bring conflict to the mix. We need to negotiate when we delight a customer. So how do we do it? Master diffuse. Don't allow yourself to lose your cool. E, encourage your customer to vent their anger. Find the facts. Understand their feelings. Suggest a solution. End on a positive note. Now let's break it down a little bit. Notice, don't allow yourself to lose your cool means stay emotionally neutral. It doesn't mean that you don't have feelings. You do. But stay neutral and be logical. Use the left part of the brain. Because remember, you and the customer, you're going to constitute both parts of the brain. You are the left. Now, what your customer is doing to find the solution need to be in both spheres of the brain, the right, the creative, and the left, the linear part, step-by-step solution, so to speak. So your customer comes using the right part of the brain. They are angry. That's where anger resides. In the right, they are really upset. The mood, it's part of the right. Now, how do you move the customer from the right part of the brain to the left to start thinking? Find out the facts. Ask questions. What happens when you ask a question? You are forcing practically the customer to change gears from the emotional state, because many times when you ask someone a question, they're going to stop for a second or two to think. The moment they think, now you have created a switch in their brain. Emotion subsides, logic starts to rise, and all of a sudden now you are thinking because you are logical, emotionally neutral. They are emotionally charged. Now they are subsiding. They come to the point that both of you are emotionally neutral. And now, guess what? That's the beauty. Acknowledge their feelings. That is the magical moment. As they become logical, say, I understand, I sympathize, I understand why you said this and how you, and so forth. By understanding their feeling, you neutralize the anger. Now both of you are sitting together on the common ground of logic to find a solution together. You become partners to find that solution, and then you end up on a positive note. See, logic, emotion, neutralize emotion, neutral emotion, understand emotion, show solidarity, logic, and solution resides in the logical sphere. Wow. You are moving from the right brain to the left brain to find the solutions together. And now both of you are going to end on an amazing note. You have helped a customer to build loyalty and goodwill. Now, juggle multiple priorities. Again, communication briefings had another amazing tool called Can Do, which means check your attitude. Notice again, attitude. It comes to play every time. Attitude makes you or breaks you. So check your attitude. Then assess your weakness and strength. Nail down an organizational method. Divide and conquer your workload. Overcome procrastination. That's huge. And there is a lot of techniques, like I call them the A method or the D method or the F method, the traffic method, etc. Believe it or not, if I get one piece of paper at my desk or an email, do you know there are only four possibilities? If I get a piece of paper, the A, I need to act. I'm the only one that needs to act on it. A for act. I get this piece of paper and said, you know what? I don't need, this is trash. Abandon, trash it. Oh, this is important. I don't have the time for now. Annotate what needs to be done. Archive it. You see? Wow. You see, you are acting, you are abandoning, you are archiving. And then what happens if you are sending it to somebody else? Remember, do not abdicate. When you delegate something, you are not abdicating. You just say, you know what? I don't have the skill or the time. I know that my assistant, someone else in that department, advance this paper to the next position. And look what happens to you. You are only in the zone of action. Archiving is for later by you. Advancement is for someone else, but don't abdicate or abandon your trash. You see how easy? I get an email, I get a text, I get whatever, a letter, any requirements from any level. If I say, do I act? Do I archive? Do I advance? Or do I abandon? Wow. If you just follow that organizational method, you have saved a ton of time. See, that's why we start with time management. We have a whole technique, like the traffic method, to be in control. You are going practically to trash, to refer, to act, to file. But then what's the other F? Follow up and follow through, to be in control. The traffic method. You see again, trash, refer, act, file. Three of the four are moving forward. You can only act on what you need to act, important to you and urgent to you and your customer. And then follow up and follow through. And then you have the traffic. You are in control. So now when we look at this formula that we started early, extraordinary customer service to assemble the puzzle, S to the power 2, remember, self and skills. Remember when we talked about task skills, people skills, power skills? That's really about self times skills. When you think of self, what does it mean? Remember, attitude, it's your appearance. It's your context that you put yourself in every day, the stage. It's your belief, your values. Self, it's your conviction. Self is your experience. All of that is part of self, is your self-worth, self-esteem. Are you being nourished? When you think of self, think of REMs. Relax, eat, move, sleep. Have you slept enough the night before you come to work? Are you eating healthy? Are you moving? Are you exercising? It's about self-care. Today, we have a whole movement about mental health. It starts with self-care. Our mental health will suffer if we don't have self-care. Notice, customer delight starts with you, not with your skills. It starts with you as a human being, as a person. Are you happy? Do you have a dream? Are you fulfilling your dream, while you are fulfilling the professional vision and mission of the companies you work for? I always tell my clients, CEOs, when you hire and onboard people, always ask two questions at onboarding. Ask the prospective employee, what are your dreams, your personal dreams? And what are your professional aspirations in getting this job? And can we help you in fulfilling both tracks at the same time? Come to work to fulfill your personal dreams and family aspirations, and come here to work to get the money to help us grow our business, and at the same time, grow yourselves and your family. That's part of self, taking care of self. Now, when you combine it with skills, the task, technical, the hard skills, plus the people skills, I call them now power skills, human skills. Now, S to the power 2 is ready. But all that means nothing. Imagine it's having a beautiful car in the garage, a Rolls Royce, Mercedes, very nicely polished, top of the line, but you don't have fuel in that car. You haven't maintained it. The outside looks beautiful. Now you need A to the power 3. You need that fuel, that attitude that energizes you and others around you. It's action. When you put on that key in the car, the ignition, the spark, now ignites the fuel, and now you have motion. The motor starts, and now you're ready to move with full assurance that you're going to get to your destination. See, A to the power 3 is attitude, action, and assurance. But the C, I love C. I have hundreds of words with the C: cash, cash flow, customer, communication, conflict resolution. C, communication. Customer service starts with communication, with connection. But what are you connecting? You are relaying your care, your concern, your compassion. You see, you start with a human approach. A customer calls you with a need. Good morning. How are you? How can I help? What happened? Tell me. Show you that you care first, the human element, the concern, the compassion. And now go to the brain, cognition. Show your cooperation, comfort them, show your competence, your commitment, and then your courtesy. See how all these C's come together? I'm communicating my care, my competence, my commitment to the solution, and courtesy at all stages of that process of delighting the customer. And if we deploy S to the power 2 plus A to the power 3 plus C to the power 10, guaranteed D to the power 2, double delighted customer. That is amazing. If you do that, you're going to grow personally, professionally, and in your business endeavors and in your business to grow it. So yes, let's grow Glendale with delighting our customers. So the final thoughts. The customer. Remember, they like to tell their story. You see, when they call you, you need to listen to them. They want to tell you what happened, their story. So what you need to do, recognize their needs. And yes, maybe inquire of their wants and desires of the solution. Understand their expectations. But treat them with extraordinary respect and service. Go the extra mile to maintain their loyalty and goodwill. Yes, become their hero. And notice what happens, the magical transformation. They will tell your story. You see how it started? They called you to tell you their story. But as you interacted them, you magically transformed them. And now they became your mouthpieces to tell your story. Wow, what a beautiful thing. That is really the process of customer delight. So remember the golden rule. All things, therefore, that you want men to do to you, you also must likewise do to them. And men here means mankind, humanity, everybody on the face of the earth. Grant Hill said, treat people with respect and be honorable human being, and you will end up a winner. Wow. This is really fascinating. Simple. Respect, honor, and you will win. Wow. It's easier said than done, because some people feel it's only about the top line and the bottom line is about cash. No, remember, the top line, people bought your products with their cash. Cash didn't buy your product. It's people that had needs, desires, they had problems, and they were seeking a solution. They had a pain point they needed to be alleviated. And how you dealt with them made that deal profitable. Just imagine if you sold something of less quality, now they return it, and you sell them inferior quality again, they return. What happens? That top line means nothing because reworks, defects, losses, your bottom line is going to be affected. So when you have ultimate customer delight approach, top line is always high, defects and reworks are very low, profit is very high, pay you on time, and now your cash flow is very healthy. Terry Williams said, the ability to relate successfully with people turns contacts into contracts. Wow, very powerful if you are startup company, small company, self-employed, or even any size company. Are you turning contacts into contracts? The only way you do that is through extending the techniques we talked about today about the formula of customer delight. Imagine you're in business networking, you're a business trying to get prospect. You go to an event, a mixer. We have the small business summit coming up on May 2nd. You go there, bring plenty of business cards. But now, how are you going to contact prospects and turn them into contracts? They have to see first your appearance as a person. When you come, are you approachable? Are you personable? Are you professional when you meet with others on May the 2nd? More than that, do they see the conviction, the self-confidence in you? Do you reflect the vision and mission of your company with conviction and self-respect? Do they see that they can self-actualize using your product, and you yourself, are you self-actualizing through your business and in your business? Believe it or not, all that is part of a mixer. You appear very confident. Therefore, people say, if I buy your product and service, if they have this conviction, then they're going to be a good company. So self and skills, if they see that you are knowledgeable, they ask you a question, you answer, then they say, you know what, you're building my desire. Now I want to call you. If I need this product, maybe you will be the one to fulfill. So you see, even understanding the techniques of self times skills, and now attitude, action, assurance, tell them a story. That's how you sell, through stories. If you meet someone in a mixer and they have an issue, say, oh, you have this issue. Let me tell you, I have a customer who had the same issue. This is what we did. This was the solution. And here is the testimonial. You see, you are not selling. You are telling them a story. See, everything we are learning. And communication. Are you communicating? That when somebody comes in a mixer, are you paying attention to that individual, or keep looking for others around you? Remember, communication, you focus on the person in front of you. You exchange cards, you focus, communicate, show care, concern, listen to them, show your competence. See, even the techniques we're learning, the formula we're learning will lead you into prospect delight. When a prospect is delighted, you really turn the contacts into contracts. And now you don't have just a prospect, you have a customer that is going to be extremely delighted. Dave Bing said, to win the industrial world, you need customers who believe in you. That is very powerful. You come to the summit on May 2nd, make sure that you convey confidence. Because when people interact with people who keep their promises, that's very powerful. One thing I always do when I go to an event, I get business cards and I try to connect with everyone that I met. Those who answer me within the 24-hour period, these are the ones I want to continue working with and building the relationship. So make it a rule. When you go to a business function, return the call, not just via email, person to person. If you want to delight someone, go against the current. Today we are living in the digital revolution, in the digital age. Go traditional. Send them an email to make sure that the email is correct. They got it. Pick up the phone and said, leave a message. Hi, how are you? I met you at the Glendale Small Business Summit. Let's grow Glendale. I'm very happy with your acquaintance. Contact me, please. We need to continue our conversation. That alone differentiates you from everybody else that they met that day. But sad to say, I see a lot of businesses, big or small, they get a card, they go to their offices, and it goes into a box and never to be revisited again. If you want to turn contacts into contracts, make sure that people believe in you, believe in your promises, and that's how you are going to make them good prospects and clients. Heroes. Will you be a hero or a villain? Why and why not? If anything, I would like to emphasize from today, a customer service adventure. There's going to be the beauty and the beast. There will be the ups and downs, the mountains and valleys. But on such a journey, we need the heroes who can cheer us on to continue going despite the shadow of the valley, despite the difficulty of going up, surmounting that Mount Everest. We need people who believe in us, who cheer us on. No matter what happens, it will be all right. Assure us through positive action, through kind attitude. If you become that hero, I can guarantee you, you will be growing on the personal level, the professional level, and yes, your business will grow. So, true to this statement, let's grow Glendale. Let's grow every small business in the city of Glendale to be the best you could become as a business owner and as a business establishment. And with that, I want to thank very much David and Jennifer and the city of Glendale and all of you who are on the call and who will be listening to this recording. Because remember, your success starts with you and with your ultimate service to delight your customers. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Eddie. Fantastic webinar again. It's really, really such an important topic, and you speak to it so eloquently. So we really appreciate you giving the time today. As you saw in the chat just now, we did drop a feedback survey. Please let us know if this talk was meaningful to you, if it was meaningful to your day-to-day business. This is, we definitely take this feedback seriously as we build out the future events that we host as a city. And we're going to be having Eddie back actually after the seminar, after the Let's Grow Glendale event on May 2nd. And so he'll be speaking for a second half of this series, which will pick up again on the 7th to look at cash flow management. As Eddie did mention, we have our Let's Grow Glendale Small Business Summit coming up on May 2nd. We hope that all of you will join, and we look forward to seeing you. We're going to have 2 tracks of fantastic speakers that are going to be going on simultaneously. You'll have lots of different options to listen in on to learn about the different resources that are available to you to help your business grow, different strategies, different tactics, different partnerships that are available, different resources that are available to really help you take that next step in growing your profit, growing your outreach, growing your footprint within the city and beyond. So we hope to see you there. I will go ahead and drop the link for that in the chat as well. And there's still time to register for that. It's just coming up around the corner. So we hope to see all of you there. Eddie, I know that we'll see you there. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. But I will, I'll open it up very briefly to see if there are any questions from the people that are on the call. I didn't see any that were coming up in the chat. Oh, is this recording available for other employees to view? Yes, this recording will be available. Jen, do you want to give the details on where people can go to access this after the fact?
Yes, so I will go ahead and drop the link. You can go onto the Choose Glendale YouTube channel, and you will be able to access this webinar and prior webinars that we have had.
Fantastic. All right. Well, with that, of course, feel free to send any questions you may have directly to us, and we're happy to be the conduit to bring them on to Eddie, or you can reach out to Eddie directly, or come to the event on the 2nd, and you can ask them in person. That's an even better way to make a lasting impact, is to come with a question prepared and find him and ask. So that's a wonderful way to further this connection, further the conversation, and make it so that we can all grow together. Because as Eddie said at the beginning, all of you small businesses, you are the beating heart of the city of Glendale. We are very invested in giving you the resources that you need to survive and to grow and to thrive within this city. We're very proud of every single one of you. So thank you so much for your time today. Thank you again, Eddie. It's always wonderful to have you here, and thank you for sharing your wisdom and your experience. And we hope to see you all on the 2nd. And if not, we hope to see you again here for this Let's Grow Glendale workshop series on May 7th at 9:30 in the morning. Have a great day, everybody.
Thank you. Bye.